Ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to be taking a look at the Duel Blitz Gundam. We're going to be unboxing this new kit. This comes from the Gundam SEED Freedom movie, and it's basically an amalgamation of the Duel Gundam and the Blitz Gundam put together to make this nice little package. So, like with my other unboxing videos, you know the drill, but if you're new here, what I do is I put the camera up, we unbox this, we take a look at all the runners, take a look at the panel lines, see if there's any undergating on this kit, and we just go over what's inside. So without further ado, let's just unbox it. I don't know if you can see this. There's a hair in my gunpla. I've never seen that before. That's wild. Ugh. Taking a look at the manual, we can see that it has the nice new high-grade layout where it shows you what you're building, the head, the body, arms, etc. We have our whole spread here of runners, so you see what's included in the box and if you have any missing pieces, and then just more assembly guides, which this looks like it's going to go together pretty quickly. What's nice is this kit, and I assume the Lightning Buster, is also going to be compatible with the old high-grade 1/144 scale Meteor unit that came out with original Gundam SEED. And then on the back you have the typical spread of some poses you can pull off with the kit and what it looks like once it's completed. So nothing out of the ordinary with the manual, so let's stop looking at that. This right here is the A runner, and it's molded in a darkish gray color. And this runner is primarily going to be joints. So we have the hands here, and we have some joints here. This is obviously for the knee and the thigh, if I've ever seen one, and these are probably all knee joints here. If I had to guess, these are probably armpit type joints. Got leg joints up here for the upper thigh, the bottom of the torso, and then underneath the legs, the shoulder armor inner area, more than likely something for the arm and the bicep. We know that this is the elbow, so this is probably something for the arm, and then more miscellaneous joints here. So this is primarily, the A runner is primarily all joints. There's a little bit of panel lining here on the knees, but everything else, not a heck of a lot. Got a little bit here above the waist, and just a little bit on the collar for the chest, but nothing really too crazy. This is a pretty standard joint runner. There's not a whole lot to highlight about this, so let's move on to runner B. Here we have two B runners, and they share a lot of parts here in this middle section here, with these pieces on the end being what's different between the two of them. So we're going to take a look at B1 and then just this little square on B2. So here we have the end of the forearm here, and then the upper armpit bicep type area. There is a slight panel line here, and like a small little circle joint up here for the bicep itself. This piece right here is the spear that goes onto the Blitz shield. Typical little beam saber. Not sure what this piece may be. Up here are some pieces for the shoulder armor and pieces for the lower leg. The top of the foot here, and the back of the thigh here. The front of the thigh, I believe this is the side skirt, and this is probably top of the shoulder armor. We have the top of the hands here, the lower chest section for the cockpit, the back of the head, the front of the head, and then the lower torso area. Here we have the type of face shield, and there is no venting on it because it is a Duel Gundam, and the V-fin. So everything that's on B1 is right here and shared with B2. So we looked at these pieces. These are all different, and these are just more armor pieces that are typically one-off. And here on B2, we're only going to look at these four parts here, and primarily it is just waist armor pieces here, and then whatever these are for. This might be for something of like the Blitz shroud. I'm not entirely sure. For the most part, I can take a decent educated guess on where these pieces are going to lie. And because this is a hybrid with a lot of parts, I didn't anticipate to see any undergating here, and taking a glance at this runner, I don't see any, so I don't think we're going to have any undergating on this kit, but we'll check the other runners just to be sure. Here we have the C1 and the C2 runner, and we're only going to be looking at C1 because C2 is identical with these pieces here. So the C runners has this inner framing for the legs here because that gray bit pops up from behind the armor on the lower leg, and up here for the shoulder armor itself, and then this is more than likely for the foot, and then we have a thruster here. Because up here is all new parts, I'm going to take a guess and say that this is for the lower torso that goes into the waist itself. These look like miscellaneous joints to me. I'm not sure where these go, probably in the backpack for the thrusters, and then this is for the backpack itself, like the main backpack area. And that about does it for the C runners. There are a decent amount of runners in this kit, but there's a lot of copy paste, as we can see here, and they are actually relatively small. A lot of them are not full-size runners, if you will. They're all slightly smaller or small like this. Here we have the D1 and D2 runner, but we're only going to be taking a look at the D1 runner, as D2 is identical. So starting out down here, the add-on pieces are molded in a nice orange color, and the orange and blue color scheme does look pretty good in my opinion. So this is the front of the missile pod, and this is for the shin armor on the Blitz shroud. This is a thruster for the Blitz shroud, and these pieces here I would assume are for the chest. These yellow pieces here are for the Blitz Claw that goes on one arm. And then we have backpack pieces here. So these are for the standard Duel, and I think that other gray piece we saw on one of the previous runners is for like the Blitz shroud. Here we have the top and bottom of the foot, and then this is for the outer shoulder armor, and this is for the knee. This is the cuff for the arm, and we have the torso pieces here, and then some miscellaneous head pieces, so the cap for the head, and then the chin piece for the head, and then the eyes. The eyes are not molded separately, so that's a sticker or something to paint. And like previously thought, there is no undergating on this kit, and that's to be expected. Here we have the E runner, and this is primarily armor pieces for the Blitz shroud. So this is all just going to be add-on armor pieces, and we're going to look on the back side real quick just to see if there's any greebling or undergating, which I do not see here. All we really have is like one vent panel line for the thruster on the leg. So all of our detail for the armor pieces is on the upside portion of this armor. I suppose technically you could consider this on the inside, as this is going to be facing inside the leg, and there are a little bit of panel lines here and there on the inner leg armor. Here we have some waist armor, and these little raised bits are supposed to be orange, so I'm going to assume there's going to be stickers for those. Here we have the ankle armor for the Blitz shroud, and the outer thruster armor for the Blitz shroud. We have the missile pod here for the back wing, if you will, for the top shoulder armor. I'm not really sure what to call it, but it's for the Blitz shroud nonetheless. I'm going to assume that these atypical one-off pieces are for the backpack, and then this is all armor pieces for the shoulder armor and extra armaments, so the missile pod, etc. I'm going to assume that this piece sandwiches on this side of this piece. Actually, this is not for the backpack, but for the outer armor. I believe this holds the Blitz Claw, and this is probably for the Blitz shield. And then we have the main torso armor. This is for the rear of the backpack for the Blitz shroud, and this is the rear skirt for the Blitz shroud. And these pieces here are all for outer shoulder armor. So all these pieces that look like a panel line are going to get covered by these pieces here, so it's not necessarily a panel line. This is just a notch where everything's going to connect. So this is a pretty okay amount of detail on these parts. That's got some decent panel lining on the rear skirt there. And then this front shroud armor looks pretty good. I'm happy they gave us a little something on the inside with this thruster armor. This outer thruster armor has some decent panel lining. So the armor portion for the Duel Blitz has better panel lines than the inside. The inside is pretty anime accurate, so there's not a ton of panel lines on the white armor underneath the Blitz shroud. So if you like surface detail, this may be a kit you want to scribe on, because this is primarily where the details are. There's not a heck of a lot underneath this. Here we have the F1 runner, and this is more pieces for the Blitz shroud, so the front of the waist area, and then some pieces for the shoulder armaments, armor pieces for the upper chest. Up here we have cuffs for the arm with the Blitz shroud attached, and then pieces for the Blitz Claw. So this is primarily where a lot of the stickers are. We're going to get into the stickers in a little bit, but there are a lot of stickers that go on this piece in particular. Here is the F2 runner, and this is just sandwich pieces for the beam rifle, so nothing too crazy that stands out. It's really just a standard Blitz beam rifle. This is a cannon for one of the shoulder pieces, so it flips out, and that's about it. Here we have a standard beam saber runner, nothing to talk about here. And then we have this CE-1 runner, which is for the Blitz Claw, something to hold the Blitz Claw as it's in action. And that's all this is for, really. This might be able to hold the kit, but over time this joint will loosen up and then it won't be able to hold it any longer. So this is really primarily for the Blitz Claw. Last but not least, we have this little wire here for the Blitz Claw so it can stay attached to the Duel Blitz. Here's the sticker sheet. We see all of this orange here, and that's primarily for the Blitz Claw for that black piece. We have these black pieces here, which you could very easily fill in with a panel line marker, so you don't really even have to use those. And then these two orange pieces up here for the front skirt. So a pretty small sticker sheet. I might end up using this just because painting that back of the Blitz Claw is going to be difficult, although there's a lot of slits in these stickers. I'll try and make sure you guys can see that. There's a lot of slits in these stickers, so it looks like it's going to go on some round edges, so that may be something that the perfectionist in me is going to want to mask and spray. Much to my dismay, because that's going to take a long time to mask, but it's a pretty small sticker sheet by comparison. I know the Gelgoog Menace has a pretty sizable sticker sheet within it. We haven't gone over that kit yet on this channel, but it's nice to open a high grade and not see too bad of a sticker. Hell, this is acceptable in my opinion. Altogether, we have 12 runners here to make up the Duel Blitz Gundam. Thank you for tuning into this unboxing video as we unboxed high grade number 252, the Duel Blitz Gundam. I hope to see you in the next video where we might review this. We might do a review of the Infinite Justice Gundam Spec 2. I haven't exactly decided what the next video is going to be about, but I'm trying to stay ahead of the curve and do some videos on these newer kits that are coming out just so you guys can know what to expect and what to get hyped for. As always, I appreciate your likes, your comments, your subscriptions, and all your support with these videos. None of this could be possible without you guys. In other news, I also picked one of these bad boys up. This is a camera slider. So what this does is it's just a motor and it sends my camera down the track, right? So this, in conjunction with this, the DJI RS4 Pro, is going to help me get some better footage of these model kits. I'm sure you noticed some shaky footage in both the St. Andrew Stein and the RG 2.0 video, and that's because it's very difficult while on a gimbal to keep steady, especially when we're trying to zoom in on these little tiny details. 100mm is incredibly close. That's my macro lens. And that's what I use for my photos on Instagram, because it helps me retain the detail of what these small kits look like. So hopefully the slider is going to help and give us some better production value behind this channel, because that's one thing I want to do. I don't just want to put this on a movable turntable and talk about it with a voiceover. I want to show you guys some poses, some cool details, and I want the footage to be perfect. I don't want it to be shaky. That really bothered me with the RG 2.0 video. So I said, what's the best way to fix this? And that's with a slider. I use this for vehicle, automotive type cinematic videos. This doesn't translate well to macro videography. It just doesn't. Like, no matter what, the weight of this plus the camera plus the lens, it's always going to have some type of slight variation and shake in footage, which is unfortunate. So I asked on the community tab if you guys would be interested in build overview type videos. That's not necessarily a review, it's just an overview of what I did for said build. So like the Dendrobium up there, I could talk about that thing. That is a full, completely custom painted build. No piece on that was left unpainted. I could talk about the RG 2.0 G3 and basically what my thought process was behind the build and how to go about painting it and all the colors I used, paints I used, things like that, etc. So there was some interest behind that, and that's what the camera slider's for. So I can say, here's this kit, we're gonna shoot it with the 100mm macro lens, you're gonna see all these nice details. You're going to be able to see it in focus. It's not going to be shaky. You can sit there and take a nice look at it as I talk about it. In any case, that's going to do it for this unboxing video and this small little channel update. I hope to see you all in the next video. I don't know what that's going to be. It could be a build overview, it could be a build review, it could be another unboxing. Who knows? Let me know what you would like to see down in the comments below. You know my backlog, you know what I have, so I'd love to open up some of those kits rather than just this new Gundam SEED Freedom stuff, because that's all we're really getting this year. So maybe I'll do a variation, open up something HGCE, and give us something different to look at rather than just SEED Freedom stuff, because it's primarily what we have for 2024 is SEED Freedom and Gundam Build Metaverse, which I am not interested in any of those kits, so I'm not going to pick any of them up unless there is significant interest on the channel of people wanting me to cover Gundam Typhoid Fever or whatever, that big weird red dragon thing that came out earlier this year. Anyways, thank you for tuning in. I hope to see you guys in the next video. This has been Joe's Gunpla Garage. Stay safe, have fun, and happy building.